It was once Heavenly Palace, soaring above the skies. Now it's a hunk of burned-up metal at the bottom of the ocean. Earlier today, China's 7-year-old defunct Tiangong-1 satellite re-entered Earth's atmosphere, landed in the middle of the South Pacific. Tiangong means Heavenly Palace. Scientists, amateur astronomers, they were tracking the uncontrolled descent of the space lab. As early as last week, there were concerns it would crash land and cause human injuries, but that didn't happen. Most parts burned up during re-entry. Another space story, NASA scientists announced that the upcoming launch later this month of the space agency's next planet-hunting satellite is good to go in 2 weeks. It's called the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, scheduled to be launched aboard a Falcon 9 rocket in exactly 2 weeks, April 16th. It'll go on a 2-year survey mission to uncover worlds beyond our solar system using new and special wide-field cameras that can scan up to 200,000 bright stars, search for new stars, new planets, possibly new life. Joining me in studio is Dr. Aviv Ofir, a postdoctoral fellow at Tel Aviv University's Weizmann Institute of Science. Aviv, good to see you again. Thanks for being with us. Tell us the significance of this new NASA satellite that's going up. I mean, really, it's going to scan things we've never dreamed of seeing, even as recently as a few years ago.
Well, it's going to do a beefed up survey like the Kepler mission did. So if you remember, up to a few years ago, the Kepler mission was discovering worlds by the thousands of them. Unfortunately, they turned out to be all around faint stars, actually by design. So they said, okay, now that we know that there are lots of planets out there, let's go and try to find them around bright stars. And if they are around bright stars, then we can follow up and do all these very intensive studies that you were alluding to in the follow-up mission.
Could bright stars compare to fainter stars with this particular mission over the next 2 years? Does that indicate perhaps new planets, new life forms? I mean, if it's a bright star versus something that's dimmed out, why does it matter?
Because if it's a faint star, there's just not enough light to actually ask or answer the questions that you are trying to answer. If it's a bright star, you have lots of light, and then you can try do what is called spectroscopy. I mean, finding out what are the chemical constituents of the atmosphere of that planet, and see if indeed are there water there, is there oxygen there, maybe even biological components in the atmosphere. And this is where bright stars are very important, because if it's a faint star, there's simply not enough light.
And being able to map this out, obviously NASA has a massive budget, but for other nations, even Israel with a smaller budget space program, can they benefit from this research, from these photographs? Can Israeli students like yourself learn from what NASA's doing?
Fortunately, the data for this particular mission is going to be available for all. There is no science team that gains proprietary period for this data. So actually, once the data is well calibrated, it will be available in a certain website, and everyone can download it, including myself. I plan on doing it exactly.
And this is tell us just the details of this. It's going up on the Falcon 9 rocket. If all goes well, it comes back in 2 years. Will we know anything before then? Will they be? Is it in real time?
It's not going back in any time. It's going to be in a very high orbit around Earth, and it will survey a particular slice of sky every 27 days. So we will have a new chunk of data every 27 days. For the next 2 years, that's the main mission, and hopefully we will have extended missions for many years to come.
All right, again, NASA confirming everything is good to go. 2 weeks, this thing is supposed to be in space.